talking about priorities and procrastination. I'm going to state the obvious. Our number one priority, if you don't get anything out of this lecture, take this. God is number one. God is our cornerstone, or the chief cornerstone of our life. He's number one in everything. The number one in our time, the number one in our effort, the number one when it comes to giving, the number one when it comes to obedience, is the number one in everything that we do. And is the center of everything that we do. So, if we want to end the lecture here, and you don't want to listen to anything else, just take this home. Take this message home with you. Is God is the number one in everything that we do. In all aspects of our life. Is the number one thing at home. Is the number one thing, the first thing that we talk, first person we talk to, last person we talk to, is the only, or the first person who will obey and everybody else comes second. When it comes to our money, is the first person that we give our obligations to. So God is the number one thing in our life, is our chief cornerstone. Without it, everything that you build and you achieve in your life, without a huge or a solid foundation, is going to collapse. It doesn't take an engineer to figure out, you build any building, no matter how big or small, without a foundation, it's just a matter of time to collapse. No matter how successful you are, no matter how good you are, no matter how filthy rich you are, no matter how intelligent you are, it will collapse, bottom line. So, as a Christian, what is our priority? I think because it's after dinner, I'd rather we all read together. So yeah, we don't fall asleep. I know none of you will fall asleep, but yeah, just to keep things going. Let's read together. It's the Bible. So make believe this is your Bible reading for today. So let's read. For after all these things, let us seek.
For your heavenly Father knows that you need all these things. But seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you.
Matthew 6, 32, 33. Seek first the kingdom of heaven. Seek first God. And I underline which words. All these things. Everything. Everything that you need will be given. But I only need to seek God first. God needs to be the center of my life. He is my only, or not maybe my only, my first priority. What does it mean by first?
You should be in a little bit.
No, first, referring that there's a second, there's a third, there's a fourth. It doesn't say the only priority. But there are other priorities. But nothing comes before God. Not a school, not a career, not a family, nothing. But when we put God first, everything will be added. We will be satisfied. Even if it's not the dream job we're looking for, but we will satisfy. Even if it's not the dream car that I want to drive. My son, he's turning 16, and he thinks he's going to get a really nice car when he turns 17. Because this is my dream car. So it will be your dream car forever. For a long time, at least as long as he's living our house. So it's okay if I don't have my dream car, my dream house, my dream job. But the bottom line is I'm going to be satisfied if I put God first. Next verse. Therefore, we make it our aim, whether present or absent, to be well-pleasing to Him. No matter what we do, this is our aim, to please God and to put God first in our life. So, I'm going to give you kind of 4 scenarios, and maybe it will help us to figure out if you know what is a priority or not. I'm going to go show you some scenarios, like some graphs or some pictures, and you decide which scenario truly what should be a Christian or each one of us be the model of priority. So I'm not going to explain, I'll explain after we choose. So read and kind of think on your own. You know, this is like a, a circle or a donut that all the priorities in your life divided evenly. So scenario 1. Scenario 2, self-explanatory. Scenario 3, that may be busy. And scenario 4. So going back to scenario. How many people think that scenario 1 is the model of priorities? Raise your hands. Everybody's going to have to answer, so I will be counting. So no. So if this was the model, then all of you are wrong? Okay. Good. That's a good question. Why? So why this is not the priority?
I think it's too ideal, like it's too realistic to accomplish to have like an equal balance in all those aspects.
Okay, very good. What else?
For me?
Sure. Anybody?
I was gonna say some things don't require that much time or priority, while other things require more priority. Like should take a higher priority.
Okay,
than other
very
things
good.
on there.
Okay, last point.
There's a void in the middle, so we wouldn't know what to really fill with, so it's just like wasting our time.
Okay. Good contemplation. I never thought about it when I was reading. Good contemplation. I'll use that for next time. Maybe it looks like somebody's living a life of routine. Every day is the same like the day after. He does everything or she does everything, but nothing really gives a perfect or a good attention. How many people think and look, you think scenario number 2 is the model or priorities?
Can I see scenario 3 please?
Yeah.
I forgot.
Sure. Okay, this one, if not, like Abouna said, why not? In the back.
I agree with that one.
Yes?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, how many people agree? Raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Guys, don't be shy. We're no one's going to go outside and say, oh, Mina said yes to scenario number 2 and it was wrong.
Can we ask the question?
Raise your hand if you think scenario number 2. Okay. Somebody tell me from those who raised their hand, why do you think, since you were the first person in the back, tell me why you think scenario number 2.
Because clearly God and church is the biggest priority there. And then next comes your career and what I see. And then, I don't know, she seems like a waste of time.
Okay. Good. And, go ahead. Okay. Is he reading the center though, or we're interpreting him different? Okay. Okay. Let's go to the next 2 scenarios and we'll come back to it. How many people think this scenario is the ideal model? No. Okay, this one. Yes, no. Yeah, raise your hand. Okay, a lot of you didn't raise your hand, so.
Wait, but that is at the bottom of it.
Why yes? Guys, just stay together and please again put your phones away.
Because I feel like we said in the first couple verses, if you make God first, then He will add everything onto you. So in this pyramid, if you don't have the foundation, then it's not a pyramid. So God has to be that foundation and everything else builds off of it.
Very good.
It's fine.
And he's right. Everything built on God. God is the foundation of everything. And He's the center of everything. And nothing is bigger than Him. He is the biggest cornerstone. He is the cornerstone. In the previous scenarios, even though God gets or church gets a lot of our time, and I'm serving there 100%, but when I have to choose, sometimes they go last. And that becomes a very, very unstable life, as we can see. This cannot stand still for a second. This life becomes very, very unstable. Even though I spend a lot of time reading or praying, but when I have to, maybe only when I have the time, but when I have to make a choice, I keep that to the end. I'm sorry for, and maybe I'm totally off with these, but again, this is my own understanding. This one, yes, we see a big circle in the middle, but the dangerous part about this scenario is some things that we do is isolated outside the realm of God. And God is not present. And God is not part of it. For example, in my career, I'll do anything, whatever it takes to succeed. If I have to go to happy hour every single day, I will go. You guys don't know happy hours, right? Should I explain?
You don't know.
It's this place where they go and they're happy for an hour. Applebee's, right. If it requires that I have to lie in my job in order to succeed, yes. If it requires that I have to cheat on my exams, so there are things, but they're not linked. They're not interlinked. They're not, I do things in silos. Things I do in my life. So yes, I give things its time and its priorities, but they're not centered or linked or prioritized based on my relationship with God or God Himself. I do things separately. With my friends, I do whatever my friends do. In my school, I do whatever people in school do. In my career, in my personal life, I do whatever. And in my church, I do also what I do, and I have a separate relationship. It's almost like living separate lives. And I think, to be honest, most of us kind of fall into this scenario. So, please let me know if you have different thoughts. Because this is not dogma or anything. This is just kind of thinking to myself, preparing. Yes?
I didn't really know Shapes had any meaning. I just thought this one was more inclusive than the last one, that's why I took it.
I see, because you see the big circle in the middle.
Yeah.
But you see, it would have made sense if all the circles are within the big circle, then everything I do is linked to God. But when I start separating some of my priorities, or separating parts of my life, then my priorities are going, I don't have my priorities set straight. Anybody want to add? Any questions so far? I'm sorry if it's a bit confusing, but because sometimes we are confused of what is a priority, or my understanding of what is a priority. So, I want to talk a few minutes about the danger of not prioritizing. It's inclusive. We're talking about prioritizing and spending most of the time. Procrastination as well, included in our talk. I just don't want to keep saying two separate things. So it's inclusive. So if I don't set my priorities straight, one of the dangers is that I could lose everything. Like Abouna was talking, and I love this talk about church hopping. My part in that segment is not straight. Therefore, I could lose many things. I was talking also we were talking during dinner time that I'm going to fall between the cracks. So I'll give you a very common example that you go through on a weekly, if not daily basis. You have 2 exams on the same day. One is worth 10% of your overall grade for that class, and another one is worth 90% of the overall grade in that class. You spend most of your time studying for the class that's 10%, that's worth, or the exam that's worth 10%. And you spend very little time on the one that's worth 90%. What's going to happen? Most likely you're going to fail both. You know why? Because you can get 100 on the one that's worth 10%, but you mess up later because you didn't prioritize as well, and you're going to still fail, even if you got 100 on that exam. You're definitely failing the other one because it's 90% of your exam. So because you didn't set your priorities straight, you're going to lose. It's like almost a lose-lose situation. Same thing with everything in life. If I don't prioritize my own family, I'm going to lose my family. I'm going to lose my children. If I don't, we could take it down as the pyramid, then there's blocks. If I don't prioritize my job within the scope of my job, I'm going to lose my job. If I don't know how to prioritize, guys, in my life, I'm going to start losing many things. Let's read together. For what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his own soul? And the biggest thing I'm going to lose is what? My own salvation. If I put anything, no matter what, before God, before my own salvation, then I lost everything. Even if I had everything. I literally lost everything. And it's going to bring to more losses, because when God is not in my life, God is not my priority, I'm never satisfied. You saw the upside pyramid? How unstable or unstable is that person's life? There's always ups and downs, there's always problems when I don't set my priorities straight. And sometimes I start wondering why I'm always failing. Why am I failing in school? Why am I having problems at home? Why I'm not, improving my relationship with God? Because my priorities are not straight. That's why I'm always failing. Let's read together. Laziness casts one into a deep sleep, and an idle person will suffer hunger. Yes, it talks about laziness and being idle, but maybe if we switch the word laziness and put priorities, or lack of, it will always lead to being a failure. And some things that we fail in, there is no second chance. It will lead to unnecessary stress, lack of peace, lack of joy, lack of happiness, and sometimes, believe it or not, it could lead to even some physical illnesses. Simply why? What's the underlying word? Because God is not present. The lack of God's presence in my life could lead. Why stress, for example? Explain to me, why would I be more stressful if I don't prioritize God in my life, and God is not in my life? Why I'm prone to be more stressful? Somebody explain to me the concept. Karen.
You won't have anyone to turn to when you have a difficult situation.
Very good. When I'm under stress and I'm a limited human being, sometimes stress is much bigger and greater than me. If you give me a 500-ton rock and tell me to carry it over your head, I won't be able to carry it. 1 and 2 is gonna crush me, and I'm gonna die. But if I have 5-6 people, maybe 10, and who's supporting me, we all gonna survive. So God is number one in my life. God is present in my life. When I'm stressed, when I meet dead ends, roadblocks, problems, big problems, as Karen said, I will turn to God. And is He God? Is God capable of doing anything and solving every problem? Yes, He is. Therefore, no longer stress, because I'm depending on someone who's much greater. Same thing with peace. Same thing with joy. The fruits of the Spirit. God is not there, there's no peace. God is not there, there's no joy. I always wondered why I'm not happy. People come, and I'm sure my father's the priest will tell you, people come and say, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. Why? Because God is just simply not there. He's not a priority in my life. He is a checklist, and maybe once a week, maybe when I'm having exams, Abouna was mentioning the 5 a.m. liturgies. The 5 a.m. liturgies is packed on finals exam. Not knocking anybody down for coming. It's good to remember God in all aspects of life, but it's not a checklist. It's God is a priority. To continue the dangers. Pay attention to the next couple slides. If I don't learn how to prioritize today, when it matters, I won't be able to. If I don't know how to live my life diligently and seek seriousness and put God first in my life, when it matters, of course it matters every day, but when the time comes where I feel like now I want to prioritize, now I want to seek a relationship with God, now I want God, I won't know how to. Because I never learned. You cannot, for example, go to the Olympics and race with Michael Phelps if you don't even know how to tread water. Even if you're a good swimmer, you can't compete. You guys are awake or asleep? Because I'm really good at putting people to sleep. Okay. This verse maybe doesn't relate directly to what we're talking about, but we can again put it into our perspective. Maybe this talks about sin, but put it into the same perspective we're talking about. Let's read together. For what I am doing, I do not understand. For what I will to do, that I do not practice. But what I hate, that I do. If then I do what I will not do, I agree with the law that this is good. But now it is no longer I who do it, but sin that dwells in me. Sometimes this is what I want to do. Is anyone here wants to be evil or to be away from God? Obviously not. You wouldn't be here to begin with. We all want to be good people. We all want our pictures to be posted on the churches, after we die. And remember, this person was a saint. Some of our pictures will be dripping oil after the trust. We all want to be good people. We all want to be saints. We all want to be with that. But I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. But when the time comes, when it matters, maybe when I have children and I want to teach them how to prioritize, I can't teach what I don't have. When I realize all my life, I never put God first, and I realized finally I need to put God first. Not that I will not be able to, but it's going to be very, very difficult. Like I said in the beginning, everything that we learn today is going to help me from now till forever. Beautiful quote by St. Gregory the Great. If we can see it, let's read it together, because it's really nice. The slothful should be made to realize that often
we are unwilling to do in due season what we can. Soon after,
when we are willing, we are not able to do. I don't think it needs any more explanation. Guys, there will be one day where I say, I wish. I wish I read more. I wish I prayed. I wish I went to church. I wish I learned hymns. I wish. And be honest, standing here in front of you, I confess, I wish I had done a lot of things in my life that I'm missing today. And those of you that go to Bergen probably say, oh, Abouna Thomas wished that he would learn more Alhamdulillah when he was young. Believe I tried, it didn't work out. But it's something I wish I had done more of. Just an example. But the day will come. So why prevent ourselves now when we know we're going to need it no matter what? But later on, it's going to become very difficult. And sometimes hard. Like Abouna Thomas mentioned an example about this family didn't attend church for 18 years or so. At one point they wish they had attended from the beginning, because now the kids very distant from the church and probably don't know anything about God. But now try to teach an 18, 19-year-old how to go to church every single day or every single week. Good luck with that. There's a reason why we baptize children and infants in our church. They come. Because if they don't learn when they're 2 months, 3 months, and 4 years, and 5 years, when they come when they're older, doesn't work. You talk to any parent that avoided church when they're raising their children when they're young because they couldn't tolerate a 10-hour service on Good Friday, ask them 5, 10 years from now, they said, I regret doing that. To continue also, not prioritizing correctly will lead to distractions, dependency on material and worldly things. I'll give you an example. You know how at one point we all procrastinated with our exams or our studying. But let me ask you, here's a scenario. You didn't prioritize before finals or before your exam, and all of a sudden, you just realized you have this much notes to read and to know because your exam is going to be in a day or two. And you never get to it. Let's be honest. What are you going to do on that test? Cheat. Why? Because you didn't prioritize and you procrastinated to the last minute. But now you have to seek other tools to get to your goal. Same thing with everything else. You don't put God first in my life. Now when I need something or I'm stuck at a problem, I'm going to seek worldly things, material things, my own abilities to solve the problem rather than you having God and depending on God to solve it for me. And all these things become a distraction. And it doesn't stop at cheating. It carries with us. When we go to work, when we do, they say, if you want to get promoted, you make sure you go to this happy hours where your supervisors are going to. This is how you get your promotion. And this is the lingo of corporate America. You want to get a promotion, you better go and hang out in those happy hours where your supervisors and your VPs will be. But if you truly put God first, then no. I don't need to be in that environment because we said God has to be the center of everything. And that could separate me from God one way or another, so I'm going to depend on God. But if I don't do that, then I'm going to seek various things to do in order to reach to my goal. Let's read. Do not labor for the food which perishes, but for the food which endures everlasting life, We struggle and we struggle and we struggle with trying to get things that don't matter. Why? Because I didn't prioritize. And I put God first in my life. And we're talking here about prioritizing and putting God first. We also need to learn how to prioritize in other aspects of our life. But most likely, maybe I'll take that back. Sometimes if you don't know how to put God first in my life, you won't know how to prioritize with other things. And there's other group of people that they prioritize everything, but when it comes to God, no. I don't know which is worse. You know how to prioritize, but when it comes to God, you choose not to, or you don't know how to prioritize, period. It's a big quote, but beautiful quote, to be honest with you. Let's read. When the soul does not direct its effort to higher things, neglecting itself, it stoops to concern itself with low desires. And when it does not restrain itself by aiming vigorously at higher things, it is wounded by the hunger of basic cupidity, and consequently, as it neglects its restraints with discipline, it is the more distracted in its craving for pleasure. When I don't take care of the self, of myself and my priorities with God, then I'm going to be distracted with other things. I'm going to stoop down to care about the things, as mentioned in John 6, that will perish. How are we doing with time? Huh? It also leads to some imaginative and speculative difficulties and fears. And boy, many of us suffer this. I tell you, the most example, or the best example we hear, and my father's the priest could attest to this. Abouna, I stopped coming to the church, was when I walk in the church, everybody looks at me. So what do you want them to do? Do you see you cover their head? Of course they're going to look at you. You're walking in, a human being just walked in. Ignore him? God forbid somebody says, where have you been? Oh, Abouna, I can't take this anymore. You know, I leave for like 15 weeks, I come back and people ask me where I work. And I start imagining things. I start imagining people are judging me, and people are telling me, people are looking, how dare he come to church and repent and take communion confession? How dare he? Really? Do you really think people think that way? Do you really think anyone sitting in the church is judging you for walking in church? If anything, people are looking at you because they're happy to see you. That actually drives me crazy sometimes. And it's an imagination that Satan puts in our mind and some speculations, and we start to imagine things and imagine certain fears. I'm just using this as an example. I realized, I came to the conclusion that when I pray, I don't benefit anything, so I stop praying. Really? You're so smart. You came to the point where you're going to stop praying because you don't benefit from prayer, rather than praying more so you can benefit. I realized, I don't get anything out of the Bible, so I stop reading the Bible. I don't get much from the liturgy. And all these fears and all these speculations and imaginations start to build in my mind and in my heart. Why? Because God is not a priority. If He was a priority, I will do whatever it takes to reach to my goal. One last quote to read together. Usually, the slothful is neglecting to do what he ought, imagines himself certain difficulties, and harbors certain unfounded fears. And when he discovers an apparent reason for him, fear apparently justified, he acts as if he were quite justified in being inactive and indolent. Pay attention to a couple of things. He imagines to himself certain difficulties and harbors certain unfounded Unfounded means what?
No basis.
No basis. This is your own personal conclusion. And when he discovers an apparent reason for having fear, apparently justified, that's it. I made a conclusion in my mind that I'm not walking in that church again, or I'm not reading the Bible again, because I don't benefit. No, maybe it's true in the beginning, but maybe get some guidance to teach you how to read, or where to read, or to how to benefit. Maybe the first couple of years I won't benefit, but maybe later on I will. Does every single 3-year-old child understand the meaning of our Father in heaven? No, but they learn it, and the day will come, they'll understand it and appreciate it. When second graders and we tell them to need to learn the Thanksgiving prayer, Psalm 50, do they understand what it means? They can't even pronounce half of the words. But one day they'll appreciate it. But if he comes and says, I don't understand, I don't even know what these words mean, I'm not going to do it. An imaginative fear, unfounded anxiety and fear that builds in my life simply because I left my aim, my goal, my priority, and I start to imagine these things just so my conscience is justified and is clear when I don't go to church, when I don't pray, when I don't read the Bible, when I don't participate in many things. Okay, so we're going to go through everyone knows most of the things we're going to talk about, how to prioritize and stay focused. We're going to go through them really quick. Remember the basics. Anyone engineer here? Sub-engineer majors? Abouna, of course. Every foundation, every building in the world is made out of what? Concrete. That's it. Concrete is made out of steel and, concrete. Simple as that. Simple. No matter how it looks from the outside, pretty or not, small or big, 1 family, 10 family, 100 stories is made out of what? Concrete. Very, very basic. So sometimes we need to go back to the basics. Let's read. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. My friends, let's go back to the basics. Let's learn how to love God and put Him first. Everything else will come later. But unless I do that, I will never reach my goal. 2, acknowledge your goal and your priorities. How many times did I actually sit down, at least once a year, maybe at the beginning of the year or the end of the year, whichever, and wrote down what are my priorities? My big priorities, then sub-priorities. How many times did I list them? How many priorities do I have? And what is the most important? What is the least important? And it's good once in a while to share my priorities with my spiritual advisor or father of confession to get some help. Because sometimes in my imagination, we think of certain priorities, or we make excuses for ourselves. Recently I was having a discussion with a young man. So I asked him, do you read the Bible or pray? Well, I really don't. I leave the house, I have 7 in the morning, I come back 11 o'clock. I have no time. And I'm trying to just say, our Father art in heaven in the morning and at night. Just something. Read 5 verses. Make believe it's a long text and read it. 5 verses. After confession is done, he said, I want to talk to you about something. I was sure. He goes, I'm in a relationship or about a relationship. So you have a time to have a relationship, but you don't have the time for 5 minutes to really pray and read the Bible. We really need some guidance on how to prioritize. Because sometimes we think we have our priorities straight, but we're not. the Bible teaches everything that we do, we ask God for His help and support. By prayer and supplication, let all your requests be known to God. Pray about it. God, help me to be on the right track. God, help me to set my priorities straight. God, support me, even if I go astray or left or right. Keep me on that path which help me to reach my goal and to make you number one. Start your day with a prayer. Say, God, I want to put you first. I want to please you today. I don't want to do anything that upsets you. I don't want to be distracted from you. I want to keep you next to me in everything that I do, and you're part of everything that I do. I don't want to do anything without you being present and be part of. And that's your prayer in the morning. 2 seconds. Even if you have to say it as you want, but involve Him in all your decisions. We're going to repeat the same verse that we read, but from St. Luke. Let's read together. And do not seek what you should eat or what you should drink, nor have an anxious mind. For all these things the nations of the world seek after. And your Father knows that you need needs for these things. But seek the kingdom of God, and all things shall be added. Don't be anxious. Honestly. Have faith. And I put God first. Everything will come. Not that I want to put God first so I can have my dream, or the best. No. It's because He will fill me with satisfaction. When the cup is this big, and you only put this much water, and it's to the top, it's full. When I feel this satisfaction, I'm not going to be anxious. But you look at the Hollywood, the rich and the famous, the biggest percentage of suicide rate is among those groups of people. The rich and the famous and Hollywood stars. You name it. Robin Williams, Nirvana, Michael Jackson, all these famous people, they ended their life either on their own or through drugs. Why? Because they have someone to go to that they can fills their life and satisfies them. So they're always anxious. They're always they want something to depend on to fulfill their life and their needs.
Is it wrong to be anxious?
Huh?
Is it wrong to be anxious?
Sometimes it's a weakness or an illness, and it's not in our control. But in general, God asks us not to be anxious. Because if I have faith in Him, I can't be anxious. So ask yourself, why am I anxious? Yes, it's a weakness that we all could go through, but then I have to talk to myself, talk to someone that can convince me if I'm anxious that I'm not faithful or I don't have enough faith in God. And keep that message bouncing in and out of your mind and actually engrave it in your mind so I don't have to be anxious. But we can't talk about it in general term because it could be an illness. But in general, the regular anxiety, I shouldn't do. Because God Himself said, do not be anxious. You guys might have heard this before, and a right or a good goal with the wrong priority or the wrong time becomes what? The wrong or a bad goal. So I could say I have all my priorities are good things. But if misshifted, or I put it before the other, we give the example of the 2 exams, that in the end it becomes the wrong priority. Everything will fall in place only if when God is my number 1 priority. And glory be to God forever. Amen. Any questions?
One quick question, going like prioritizing your priorities in your life. I feel like as college kids, one of the main priorities we kind of struggle with, at least for me, is like prioritizing like your family and stuff. But let's say your average student goes to class or work like 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, so you leave like before, after, during your parents like work. And by the time you finish class, work, your school, job, whatever, and then you study for exams, you come home by like 10, 11 o'clock when your parents are sleeping. That's Monday through Friday, then Saturday and Sunday you have service, then your schedule repeats. So you kind of put your family on the back burner, even though like, you know, you shouldn't, but like between service, school, and just I feel like that sort of gets out of hand.
I agree with you, but honestly, if there's a will, there's a way. I know parents who had 4 or 5 children, and they went to medical school, passed their boards, and worked full time. Don't ask me how, but there's a way. And I'm sure, my fathers know many people. I know a handful of people that went through some, heavy duty studying and heavy duty work with, I'll tell you, I go on a weekly, we have Sunday schools broken down into families. And so every Thursday I go visitation to the middle school family. The most active servants that go religiously every week with me are the busiest 2 people I know. And they have a lot of children. 4 or 5 children. They're the busiest people, but yet they make sure the service is not misprioritized. But then you talk to sorry to say, a newlywed couple, Abouna, we don't have time. Really? You have the time in the world. That's it. You're not running after anyone anymore. You're not going outside to date and to meet in restaurants and this. No. Yeah, there's a will, there's a way. If Abouna wants to add or
I would say in every culture, in every age, there is some characteristic, and this age and this era is the era of consuming time. And I wonder that you do not appreciate your time. Your time is your life. For sure, you were born on a certain time, and you will die on a certain time. And between your birth and your death, this is your very short life. How can you waste your time? I wonder. You spend hours and hours on the cell phone, you spend hours and hours in watching silly movies. I don't know how. مش عارف Iron Man وحاجات كده. I try to waste my time with some of you. I can't because my time is my life. Star Wars ده حاجة طبعا. My time is my life. خلي بالك تاني. My time is my life. And I can't let someone to capture me as he wish or as she wish. Answering phone calls or texting 100 of texts every day, or watching, put your nose in others' affair. How can you have all of that? You are always distracted, by the way. You are always distracted. في الليترشيز وفي السيرمونز وحتى في الفيونرالز انت distracted. I don't know how can you give time. You have to consecrate time for your family because your family is your life. And if you are not good with your parents, you will not be good with your children. For sure, you will not have successful family life. How to focus, how to control yourself, and how to set boundaries. Don't let anyone to steal your time. By the way, if you lose your health, you can regain. If you lose your money, you can regain. If you lose your time, no power on earth can help you to regain your time. But you let time to go through your fingers and you lose your life. And by the way, time flies. Here in America, in Egypt, they enjoy their times. The day is blessed in Egypt. They can do everything, and still the day is long and filled with blessing. In Europe, they are so strict, everything in its time. And everyone lives according to his or her way, but there is control. In America, everyone is torn apart. Everyone is distracted. Everyone doesn't feel the time. You close your eyes, you open them, and 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. This is what I see, because I lived in Egypt and I live in America now. I can say we are so poor. Time flies, and there is no control about the rhythm of the time. And what is the conclusion? Hey, you will open your eyes. You are over 70, as Abouna said now, scary sentence. When you will have the will, you will not have the ability. Now you have the ability, but you don't have the will. Please. And we are running after money to gain wealth, so we lose our health to gain wealth, and then we are trying to lose our wealth to gain health. بس مفيش بقى خالص. Over 70 or over 75. And there is no power on earth that can help. So please focus. سيب البتاع الزفت اللي اسمه سيلفون وتعلم ان انت سيب الايباد، سيب ما تبقاش عامل زي اللوك اللي ماشي على الويف وطالعه ونازله. Don't control yourself. Any one of the group it popped in his mind, let us go مش عارف 2 hours away عشان في good restaurant. يا عم اي برجر كينج ولا اي ويست لا في 5 جايز بس على بعد 3 ساعات. تايمينج مش اي حد يطلع بحاجه كلنا نجري وراه. يعني don't follow the head. مش كان في picture. So please, this is my comment. And Abouna, he scared me by the sentence. You have the will, but you don't have the appetite. When you don't have the ability, but when you will have the will, you will not have the ability.